All right, welcome everyone to the October Change Control Board. I sent out an agenda earlier this morning. I missed a couple things on it that I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of. The very first one is the next meeting. Instead of Tuesday of next month, we are pushing it back to Wednesday, the week before we normally do it, and it's going to be basically November 6th. John and I will be out of town the next 2 weeks, training some new clients during the week that we normally have this meeting. So just want to make you aware of when the next one is. Also, down here in the release items, I did not have this part on there. So when I finish the meeting today, I'll update the notes here and send this out for everyone so you guys have something. That being said, I'll go straight into the discussion items. Discussion item number one is the state food form, the FDA code that we were working on with basically the My Forms and the My Apps. Regarding the My Forms, which is the 11.0 right here, I'm just going to keep this on as a placeholder as we move forward into deploying the new My Forms application. We have all of the Illinois food and lodging forms ready and running, and we have a target date for all the on-site forms to be available for My Apps on January 5th of 2020. That's our hard release date. So if anyone has any questions, let me know.
Hey, Trevor.
Yeah.
We probably ought to talk a little bit about, at some point, the My Forms will be going away. So the release date for the septic and wells portion of that, as Trevor said, will be in January. That doesn't mean we're going to shut down the My Forms in January as well. We'll give it at least what I would consider ample time for everybody to make the transition. Which I don't see us shutting that off prior to April 1st of next year, but we'll probably let it go for the first half of the year. Probably more like July 1st of next year. That will probably be when we want to shut off the My Forms. If anybody has an issue with making the switch to the new mobile app prior to July 1st, let us know, and we'll discuss it and we'll see what's happening, what the reasons are. But we would like to get everybody over to that new app, definitely no later than July 1st, if at all possible.
Okay. Let me mark that down just so we can discuss it. John, also, I meant to ask you this earlier. I didn't want to put you on the spot in this meeting, but did we decide if we were going to do any enhancements or changes to forms for the My Forms other than like a hot fix bug?
Yeah, it depends what it is. We probably, what we would like to do is limit any changes to the current mobile to be things that have to be done for you to continue to get your job done. So if the state comes out with some new updated rule, during the rest of this year or early 2020, we'll go ahead and make that to the current mobile. But if it's just a suggested enhancement or something, we'll be holding off on those and only doing them in the new mobile app.
Okay, great.
Or like Trevor said, a hot fix. If for some reason somebody happens to find a bug, obviously we'll fix that as quick as possible.
Okay. All right, next discussion item B is the public application portal. So we are continuing to develop this. It's kind of ongoing. I have a demo with Madison County next week at some point to show them where we're at, because I don't think they've seen this. The other part about it is, talking with John this morning, we're looking to have the very first stage of this sometime out in the first quarter of 2020. And I'm sure we're probably going to have some demos prior to that happening. Okay, the next item is the P, PF, and C. Oh, well, go ahead.
Trevor?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I was trying to catch you before you moved on, but I had myself on mute. On the public portal, that's going to be an incremental type deployment where we'll put the first version of it won't have all the functionality that we intend for it to end up having, eventually, because it's going to cover a pretty wide array of functionality in terms of people being able to log in and make payments, but then also submit applications, be able to file complaints or send in complaints, and the complaint part that's going to be a little bit more complicated than it sounds, because we're going to want that to be able to be, people who have an account set up, that have set themselves up, and they'll need to do that so that they can make payments, submit applications. But the complaint side of things, we'll want them to be able to do that both from their account and then also just anonymously without having to create an account. So I'm not sure what's going to be included with that first version yet. We're trying to get the whole process moving. The development's been started. If you notice, though, there's the one line on there. This is number 3 about a 2-factor login portal. That's the part we're trying to get ironed out right now. That's just for added security with that public portal, because we have to be extra careful with this when you open up your websites to the public. So we just want to make sure that we have full authentication of users in place. And once we get a better idea of what exactly will be included in that first release, we'll send out a notice for that. And then we'll also include in that notice when you could expect the next release of that and what functionality that will contain and so on.
John, will that also have information that we might need to run past our IT to ensure that everything communicates the way it should and it's okay with our security settings?
Yeah, I would say that's probably a good idea. I'm not sure the specifics of what would need to be discussed. That would be like your IT staff and then somebody from our IT staff talking. And once you start getting into the weeds of that type of stuff, I'm as lost as anybody. But yeah, that's a good point, Carrie. What we'll do is when we're ready to discuss that, we'll let everybody know, and then we can set up a series of calls, where everybody can, kind of like this, but have somebody from your IT department attend the call as well, and it'll be focused just on this public portal thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Where was
Sorry, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Is it the hopes with the first phase, and I know you said you couldn't provide all the details, but the first phase, clearly they'd be able to get their accounts, yada, yada. But in the first phase, it would be being able to submit payment?
Yes,
okay.
That's the main functionality that the public portal is going to be for. That's like the #1 priority.
Okay. I just didn't want to assume.
Nope,
Thank
good
you.
question. Sure.
John, actually back on that public portal piece, I don't see anywhere, or I haven't seen anywhere where we're all going to discuss this internally again. Do we need to put something on the calendar for that?
Do you mean just on our end?
Yeah, on our end.
Yeah, we need to get with Jonathan
Okay.
and Connie and probably Tom.
We have a demo.
And
We have a demo
yeah.
for next week, which is why I was mentioning that. So
Yeah,
okay.
we'll yeah, in fact, as soon as we're done with this call, why don't pick a time where the few of us can get together and just
Okay.
make sure we're all on the same page.
All right, great. Okay.
I have one more question, sorry.
Sure.
One more.
Sure.
When people are able to pay online, will we get some sort of notification that a payment has been made, or a report that we run daily, or what? How?
Well, there definitely will be a report. Whether you get a real-time notification,
And I guess it
don't.
doesn't have to be real time, but like some sort of notification throughout.
Yes, there'll definitely be a report to be run, but I'm not sure because the real-time payments, they're actually going to be processed by another third party who has the direct interface with all the credit card companies.
Okay.
It's the name of the company is FIS. That's our partner on that end of things, and that's who we've used for the payments. Salt Lake City in Utah is actually been using them, I think, for about a year maybe, and they're quite happy with it. But I'll have to find out from them. Trevor, just add that as an added question to that under the public portal section here.
Okay.
And we'll get an answer on that.
And also, this process won't add another process on our end. It'll jive with the CDP AR that we have and then our county software that you currently work with, so we're not trying to compare and match up and do any extra data entry.
Extra data entry you're talking about on your end of things are you still talking about the payments, Carrie?
Yes.
No, there won't be any extra data entry at all. It'll be direct updates. It'll be going through. We'll communicate with FIS. We'll have that interface built in between us. Once they process the transaction, get the authorization, they send that information to us, and then we'll update the line items that were paid and everything. No, there won't be.
So basically, it won't be any different than if we add a payment. Then I know after hours it communicates with our pentimation system, and we don't have to match up anything or do any extra.
Correct. Any of the payments coming through the FIS will, once they're updated in our system, they'll interface then with the they'll interface with pentimation.
Okay.
It'll almost be transparent from the only thing you guys will notice in terms of the payments will be you guys won't be recording the payments. For any of the payments done online, the users will do that. The public will do that themselves. You guys just won't be recording those payments anymore.
Okay. I just didn't want to assume and think this was a great thing, and then we still had stuff on this end even after the fact. So sounds like it's a smooth flowing process, and sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Item number C. This was adding the PMPF boxes to the violations, and we have groomed that. Excuse me. We have a story for that on the books to do, and I added it to next Monday's planning session that we're going to go ahead and groom this and get it ready to go. The next item is expand the water samples. Yeah.
Well, that won't be on that will be on the new form.
Correct.
The
My
right.
apps.
You're not making that change on the old form, right?
Right. The My Apps.
That's right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next one, D, was the expand the water sample number to accommodate these types of numbers. That was completed and released this month, or last month, excuse me. This item will be coming off the agenda. The next one, E, was request was made for report to never have a routine inspection. That one was completed, I believe it was 9/19 also, so this one will be coming off the agenda. And the next one I've got is F. We need a new flag for number of days. First routine after opening license inspection must be completed. This was slated for a September release, but it was a priority 2, so we went ahead and made it a priority 1 for October. So this should be released at the end of this month. I believe we're still working on this one. 1, 2, 2, 3, 8, 5. Okay. The next one, discussion item G, was alert and print flags on comments. There was a lot of discussion on this earlier. I have this, when I was going through all the notes on that, it looks like we have some things to discuss internally, so I went ahead and put it on our grooming session on Monday also. So at that point, we should know more about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I know at some point we were looking for feedback from everyone, but I'm not sure we received a whole lot of that. So if anyone has any ideas for this, please send them to us, John or me or both. The next one, add ability for anonymous complaints. This was sent to me via email. I don't remember who sent it, but we are not sure how you guys want us to handle this. Does this ring a bell for anybody?
Is this because there's required fields in the RFS?
I believe so. I thought John, do you remember us talking about this?
Trevor, which one are you referring to right now?
H.
H, okay.
It came in via either an e-tool or a suggestion from someone, and I don't remember who it was from.
Well, the ability to add anonymous complaints, to me that sounds like a public portal thing. Because right now, if you go to put in a complaint, it's whoever's entering the RFS.
Right.
It's just a question of whether you're going to put in the name of the person. There's a lot of, I don't know specifically which counties are doing it. There's a lot of records on file that just have ANON in the name for anonymous.
Right, I've seen that. But do we require that as a required field?
Trevor, this is Tom Anderson. We've had that problem in the past with the RFS that when our clerk will go to enter in a complaint and the complainant wants to remain anonymous, the system, the IMS does require something in that name field.
Okay.
Right. The name is required, but that's what I mean. A lot of the counties will just put an ANON and not anybody's actual name or contact information. So I'm not sure what this is referring to. If it was a public portal question, that's, as I mentioned earlier, there's going to be two ways. You can either submit one from your account, but if it comes from your account, they're going to know. You guys are going to know who submitted it, but they'll also be able to. We're going to provide a link for this anonymous type thing, which basically means I'm going to submit a complaint, and I don't want to identify myself. So.
Okay.
So if that was a suggestion made from somebody, and if you remember making that suggestion, if it was not part of the public portal, then I'm not sure what that would be referring to. The only place I could see where this would be a suggestion for would be that public portal.
Okay, so let me readdress this and put this under the public portal discussion item.
Trevor, on that 8/6 date, by chance, is that when we had the August Change Control Board call?
Yeah, remember we skipped the September since we were on downtime.
Yeah, but that's August.
That was the last time we have discussed this.
Oh, no, I know, but you normally those are the dates of the CCB call. Let's see.
Oh no, that's the date that I added it to this agenda.
So did this come in via email to you?
I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember how it came in. I once it
We'll
comes
have to look,
in,
see if we can find it then.
I'll have to look through this date right here. Usually, whenever I add an item here is that's the date that I add it. Like yesterday, I was doing these things, and
yeah, no, that's what the date I would always put in there too. But a lot of times, these suggestions come out of these calls. So I was wondering if that was a CCB date, but I don't have anything in my calendar for that day.
Yeah, no, I do remember these last two right here came specifically from emails or e-tools.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go ahead and just reroute this one, put it back into the public portal. The public portal.
Okay.
Go from there. All right, the last one I have for the food and lodging side is Winnebago asked if anyone is interested in having inspection forms printable in other languages. It's possible. We discussed it a little bit internally, and it is possible. It's we would want to know what languages, and I believe there may be a fee with this one, John. I think that's why it was being asked.
Yeah. Let's see. Lisa, are you on a call? She is not. Yeah, we're gonna have to find out first of all, what languages she's requesting, but I guess we'll throw this out there to anybody else. Does anybody else have a need or an interest in getting these forms in other languages? The only forms that we've done in the past for any of our clients has been the print-only forms. We've never taken the inspection forms themselves into another language.
Right.
Like some of the cards that you would post up for hand washing that you would give to them, things like that.
I believe when I was talking with her or emailing with her, it was the violations. Like the violations would be the verbiage would be in English, but whenever you print, you had the option for that verbiage to be in whatever language. That way they can actually understand, assuming it's maybe a Chinese restaurant,
Peoria would like to know more about that option and what it would look like.
Well, hey, Carrie, let me ask you this. Do you see the need for any of the inspection forms to be translated, or are you talking about
being able to print them in a different language would be pretty awesome.
But that's what I'm talking about. Printing of. Are you talking about inspection forms too? Forms that have data on them that are going to change from place to place? That would be kind of tough. But
well, John, in the My Apps, there may be
the forms. Yeah, because you want to print out what you wrote for that day. We have access to hand washing signs and other signs like that, but translating the actual inspection when you print it into a different language, if that capability is out there, would be pretty great.
John, we can discuss it internally. I remember talking to Tom about this, and he thought it was possible, but it was a brief discussion.
Okay. Yeah, it seems to me like though, doing the forms that are of a dynamic nature, meaning the inspection forms where it's not predetermined text every time that we could just translate and have that form in the other language. I don't,
That
as
one would be
somebody's
tough,
typing
right?
it, we'd have to tweet. Right. Well, that's what I'm getting at. Is it would be tough to translate it as the form's filled out. We'd have to have a built-in translator to that, and it's definitely something we can discuss and see what our options are. See if we can research that a bit. So yeah, Trevor, just put that on our list of discussion items. We'll have to have somebody do some research on that. Might even want to talk to Chris DePiro, see if he's had any requests like that.
Okay. All right, got that. So that concludes the on-site part of the change control board. Does anyone?
Not the on-site.
I'm
Not
sorry.
The on-site.
Food and lodging. I was looking at the word OSW when I said that. Food and lodging side. Does anyone have anything they want to add to this while we're all together? Okay. Well, if you guys don't have on-site, feel free to drop off or feel free to stay if you want to see what we're going to discuss. Either way. And this one, okay. So moving into the on-site piece, the only one that we have currently is Peoria would like to get a small group together to begin redesigning all the OSW and well forms, then come back to CDP with a cost estimate. Have you guys moved any further with this?
I thought you guys were kind of putting something together based off of our previous meetings, kind of show us what something could look like.
Yeah, we have to take John Hendershot's last email, Trevor.
Okay.
And the ball's in our court on this right now.
Okay. I'll have to. I don't remember seeing that email.
You know what? Maybe.
There's also a lot of different forms that nobody has, and I know we were trying to make it pretty inclusive.
Right.
Starting with
Right.
the basics and being able to make it flexible and build from there. I think.
Yeah, the goal was to find the common information, put that on the form, and then all of the supplemental information, break those out into like sub panels, so that you could leave them minimized and not even have to look at them or tab through them or anything if you're not going to use them, and then just expand them when you do want to use them.
Yes. Actually is printed out is a form that doesn't have extra garbage on it, that doesn't apply to that specific situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'd have to not only do that with the pages themselves, but then on the printables, it would have to become more of a dynamic type form, where it's
Right.
going to just recognize what's been entered.
Yeah, and I know on one of the last calls we were asked to send you guys copies of our applications and inspections.
Yeah, and I received them from, let's see, I remember seeing them from McLean, Peoria. I'll have to dig through it. Yeah, we did receive them from quite a few of the counties.
This is what I've got, John. McLean, Knox, Grundy, Peoria, Winnebago.
You should have more than that document from Peoria.
Let's see. So Trevor, the ones from McLean came on August 28th from John Hendershot.
Yep.
And then Tom Anderson followed that up a couple days later with some additional forms. Then from Peoria, those would have come from you, right?
Yes.
Well, John, if you have those, forward them to me, and I'll put them in this directory, and we can lay them all out. I can actually do that for you if you want.
All right, I'm looking for the ones from Carrie right now.
I sent them to you guys on the 6th of September.
Yep, just found them. Trevor just sent you those. All right, I sent you all of those, Trev.
Okay, so
the ones from Carrie, Tom, and John Hendershot.
Okay.
And then it looks like you have the rest of them.
All right. So if you want, I can go ahead and start that mapping out all the common data elements, just like we did for North Carolina way back in the day. It's probably going to be large.
Yeah, we'll just you can get them later, and we'll just pull them into a common folder, and then we'll go over all of them because it's going to take. There's a lot of forms.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of comparison on our end. But I would say let's make a point at no later than the next CCB call to have something. We'll get something drafted up to present to everybody. We'll actually do that during the CCB call.
All right. Okay, I'll do that. So that's the only topic that we have currently for the on-site piece. Does anyone have anything else?
That's a big topic, though. Pretty much covers everything.
I guess we're good to go then. Is there anything anyone else has then? If not, I'll consider this a done meeting.
Is there a record timing for this meeting?
35 minutes.
That's pretty. That's gonna be pretty close to a record.
Works for me.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. You guys.
Thank you. Have a good week.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.